Yeah, I'll be controlling Falmanar. Falmanar's a half elven fighter who's been hired by, what is it, Lorien or Lucian? I keep fucking forgetting. Lorien.
Lorien, yeah.
And yes, so I don't know. You guys can introduce yourselves in the tavern, I suppose. You all have your different motivations and whatnot.
So I turn to Kathok the Stoneface and I say, Darling, do you know why bagpipers are such good lovers?
Tell Kavok why.
Because they can finger, squeeze, and blow all at the same time.
You see Kathok whimpering to himself. He's not laughing. He's not crying. And his mouth does not curl up in any way whatsoever. But you see his belly rumble. You see his belly rumble and creases go on the side of his eyes.
Excellent. I look at him and I say, You're not trying not to laugh, are you? I use my charisma to try to charm him, teasing him into laughing.
You see him shake his head, and he looks back down over his lamb's leg, takes another bite.
All right.
You see
So,
the bartender Quinn.
mhm.
You can tell he's cleaning a glass, but listening in.
Mhm.
You also see two new faces in the tavern this evening. The musicians are taking a break right now. They were not as good as they were hyped up to be. They just seemed mediocre, one on a flute, one on a drum. But you do see two new travelers. One is a tiefling, and one appears to be somewhat of a stout human man, sitting together at a table.
I'm not stout.
You can describe yourself then.
So my guy, Sandro, he's kind of short-ish, but pretty skinny. Shirtless, slightly toned, calf-length pant, like calf-length blue, like I think the equivalent of like they're baggy, so you can easily move around in them, but they're still like very well taken care of and presentable. We're just kind of hanging out.
Very well.
I've been silent so far. I'm just quietly sitting here, sipping on a drink.
Mhm.
So far, minding my own business.
Would I have my weapons with me?
Yes, you would. There's no rules against carrying weapons in the city. The only rule is that you're not allowed to use magic in the city. I forgot to mention that to you guys. You were told that as you entered the front gates. I believe you guys came in on land or sea. Remind me.
We came out on sea.
Okay, so yeah, there was an old gentleman there at customs that mentioned that to you as you entered.
So he's got a longbow on his back, and then a old-looking kind of longsword with a large, round, like almost like a loop, like a chain loop attached to it, but it's like a single. It's kind of similar to the picture down here in the bottom.
Okay. The two new guys, Sandro and Archimus, if you could both roll. Actually, I'll have all three of you roll perception. And Falamar is sort of, he went to the restroom, so he's over there.
Oh god, where's my character sheet again? Ah, here we go. Sorry. Where do I roll perception again?
On your character sheet, there's a skill called Perception. You just click it one time.
Ah, okay, yes. Excellent, thank you.
Okay, so Sandro in particular notices in the crowded tavern, not all of the characters are represented by tokens, but there are many people of all different races. You don't really see any tieflings or drow, other than yourself as a tiefling. But you see some of the other races. You see humans, half-orcs, elves of different kinds, dwarves that I mentioned. You see halflings and gnomes. And you see a small halfling woman brush past the high elf sitting by the bar and by the half-orc. And you notice the woman put an envelope in the satchel of the half-elf, and then she quickly makes her way out into the night.
Alright, I'm just gonna kind of keep my eye on the half elf. I'm not gonna like get up from my chair or anything. I'm just gonna watch and see what happens.
Yeah. You also notice that the half-elf did not feel or notice the envelope slipped into her satchel.
Oh,
His
it's female.
satchel. His satchel? His
Okay,
satchel.
oh.
I'm sorry.
Is it Brennan's character that we're talking about?
Well, the person is very androgynous. You at first glance cannot tell, especially from the angle that you're sitting in, that, whether it's a male or female high elf.
Do you mean half elf or high elf?
No, high elf? High elf.
High-
Yes, high elf.
Okay. So it's okay.
Yes,
Right.
the half elf is in the outhouse.
Yes. No.
He's dropping the kids off at the pool.
Yes.
Quite.
All right. So yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out, watching them, seeing if they notice the envelope or anything like that. If any more envelopes are given to anybody else.
Nope. The halfling woman quickly made her way out into the night, out the front door of the tavern.
Okay. But there's not like other people doing this, or it's just the halfling woman.
Just the halfling woman. Everyone else seems to be either socializing or enjoying their drink or food.
Okay.
I look over at the half orc again, and I say, "So, an elf, a human, and a dwarf all order an ale. When the ale arrives, a fly lands in each one. The elf shoves the ale away. The human flicks the fly away and drinks the ale. The dwarf, on the other hand, picks up the fly, holding it over his glass, squeezing it, screaming, 'Spit it out, you wee bastard! Spit it out!'
Half-orc drinks all ale.
You see him take his tankard and chug the rest of his drink down.
Ooh, well, my darling, if I recall correctly, we have a little appointment upstairs now, don't we?"
Quinn, another drink.
The half-orc ignores you, slamming the tankard on the counter, asking for another drink. The
I'm just, like,
bartender
full
takes
turn-
his time and pours the tankard. Yes.
I'm just like full turn, just sitting and watching. Like, I'm not trying to be subtle. I'm not like trying to draw attention. I'm not trying to like be stealthy about it. I'm just kind of like watching.
Yeah, my head's turned to him after he aggressively mentioned his drink and downed all of it.
So Quinn, the bartender, he appears to know him. He chuckles as he walks over and fills his tankard yet again, and goes back to cleaning some plates and glasses and tankards. Kathok the Stone-Faced continues to enjoy his meal and drink.
I shrug, take a look at Kathok, and tell him, "Catch you later." Turn around and spectacularly trip over my own bar stool, face planting,
Can I
cloak
try
over
to,
my head.
Can I try to catch the falling elf?
Yes, you may. Make a dexterity. Dexterity roll.
Check or save?
We'll do a check. Wow. So you very deftly move from your chair and catch the high elf before she hits the wooden floor. You notice Kathok the Stone-Faced turn and eyes widen, but he does not laugh and he does not cry.
This is the
You,
point where Artemis lets out a little chuckle at the scene.
You all right there?
I look up and wiggle my eyebrows at you.
I'm just kind of
Well,
like Oh, sorry.
You might have deprived the bar from an ale, but I'll buy you one.
I'll take a cranberry juice. No.
I pick myself up in a dignified manner, brushing invisible fuzz off of my tunic, turn slowly and creakily to the bartender, raise one eyebrow. Do you have any juice?
Quinn says, as a matter of fact, we do. And I'll tell you one thing. If that man didn't catch you, I think he would have had drinks on the house there. Let me get you that drink. He turns around and tends to your drink for a few moments.
I lean on the person that caught me, perhaps a little too familiarly, and say, well, best intentions, darling. Best intentions. So what's your name, Cupcake?
I'm Sandro. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you. Well, maybe later.
He looks
turn-
like ever so slightly uncomfortable as he's not doing anything to like move them, but he's like, all right.
Artemis is gonna turn over at this point, cross one leg over the other, and put his hands in his lap and watch the three of them.
So,
And how much will that...
I don't know how tall your character is, but my guy's like 5'8", so he's probably shorter than an elf.
Oh goodness. I actually had the height written down. He's actually 5'10".
So yeah, you're ever so slightly taller as well. So I'm just like, all right.
Well, they are actually 5'10". Yes. So I turn to the bartender. I say, "And how much will this juice set me back, darling?"
Only 3 copper.
I put down a coin. I don't know if I have coppers.
If you have silver, that'll be 7 copper change.
Yeah, I put down a silver coin.
Yeah, so he gives you change.
I take 5 back.
Thank you, he says.
Well, somebody should get something out of all this, darling.
How has your time been in Port Firth so far, he says.
Well, and a little less action than I'm accustomed to, but I'm entertaining myself. How about you, Sweetcakes?
I've been alright. What happened to that beautiful drow friend of yours? We don't see many of those in these parts.
Well, she went running out the door just a little while ago. Off to, I don't know, probably do something stupid. Maybe she'll be back. Maybe not. I don't know. She went up with that, pretty shifty-looking man that was in here earlier. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yes, you're talking about Merrick. Merrick is a regular here. Merrick Rommel.
Well, seems, her and Merrick, found some things in common and, then split somewhat spectacularly. Well, he seemed pretty pleased with himself when he went sauntering out, but, I don't know, maybe she was looking for round 2.
Well, it's none of my business, but I wouldn't recommend getting wrapped up with Rommel. I mean, he's always with the wrong crowd. Charming as ever, but you could tell. I don't want to say too much. There's a lot of ears around here.
Well, I appreciate the advice, my darling. It's always good to know when you should wrap it and not get wrapped up.
That's right, and he's a good customer, so who am I to talk?
I'm gonna look at Artemis with that statement, like, just confused, almost like
I-
interpret.
I'm
Like,
just gonna
not
shrug.
just
I'm confused as well. It's written on my face. I'm just gonna shrug.
I'm gonna grab my juice.
So, Sandro, what brings you to this little town?
I am currently heading towards the mountains up north here on a personal business, but figured I'd stick around here, hang out, see what civilized life is like.
Really interesting. We're happening to go up north too. In the morning, on a ship. I don't suppose you know of any that you would recommend, would you?
Any ships?
Hmm.
I mean, I just took the cheapest one here, so I can't really give a recommendation.
Fair, fair, fair. Have
Quinn
you heard about
leans in. Quinn leans in and says, "Where are you traveling to, if you don't mind me asking?"
No, I'm going up to my sweet cousin's house. Up, Steve, I forget what it's called.
The Belmar Estate.
Right, yes, right, exactly. The
That's
like
right,
the what
that's
the
right.
campaign is named after. Yes, sorry.
That's right.
You know the Belmar estate.
It's a household name
Family
here, but
business.
not many know too much about it. People just know that it's in the northern Dwalland mountain range. Not the southern, not the eastern, but the northern Dwalland range. Very treacherous territory.
Yeah, so that's why we've hired a guide, and we're going to sail most of the way. You see, that unfortunate young lady who went tearing out like her arse was on fire. It turns out she's somehow, not blood, a relative of mine. And we've inherited the estate together.
And she got herself wrapped up with Merrick. That's a dangerous situation.
She has about as much sense as a gelatinous cube, so not surprised. Hopefully she hasn't chuffed it all up yet again.
Fingers
Maybe I
crossed.
should... Yes.
At that he turns and tends to another customer across the room.
So, Artemis, where are you headed after this?
Well,
East?
I had no plans. I was just going to roam around, and I came here for musician purposes. I wanted to play in a bigger city.
Oh, you're serious. This is bigger city. This is a big city.
I come from Disconnected Isles, so yes, to me, this is quite the biggest.
Oh, darling, I'm so sorry.
Now, is this place called Port Firth or Fort Perth? My
It's Port Firth.
Okay. My brain had it backwards.
That's all right.
So, did Lorian give us their name yet, or no?
No, I
Okay. I just want to. Well, my elven compadre. I appear to be needing to head north. You appear to be heading north as well. Is there any way I could maybe hitch a ride with you? I could, a little bit of money.
Sure, actually, the trip might be dangerous. It would probably be useful having more people, but I must ask that you tell me your business up there before I take you on.
I'm searching. That's
Your
about it.
search.
Yeah.
I gaze
Not
into
much.
Sandra's eyes. Well, have you found what you're looking for?
No, that's why I'm searching.
Good gods.
Like he was
Artemis is
that dead
gonna laugh again.
like not like as sarcastic. He was like dead serious at that. Like
I looked down at myself, mumbling something about another curse. What is going on?
Artemis is gonna look down and laugh at this one again.
but,
Okay, so all three of you roll a perception, please.
Oh boy.
oh boy.
Okay, so that one
I think my
is
dice are cursed.
Archmus, right? That's Archmus, the glitch 169. So
Yep.
Archmus and Sandro notice a little bit of a rumbling in the earth. A little bit of a rumbling, and you can't quite tell if it's just the people's feet in the tavern or something more. But it feels like it can't be, because most of the people in the tavern are either seated or walking calmly. But there is a rumbling.
You
My
probably
face
see
is
my,
gonna fall at that, and I'm gonna look at Sandro with a look as if I'm questioning if he felt that too.
my ears just kind of like perk up a little bit, and I'm looking around, and I'm gonna look to you. I'm just gonna kind of give like a nod. And I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Would our different positions in the bar give anything? Would one of us feel worse tremors?
Well, you probably have to.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Ev?
Oh, sorry. No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, it feels about the same for both of you.
You feel that?
I'm surely feeling something.
I'm gonna look to the elf. You feeling like a shaking or something?
Oh, darling. I am feeling something deep inside. Are you telling me you feel it too?
So it's not just us. Okay.
I'm just gonna laugh again. This is killing him.
All right. So should we go outside? Can I press my floor? Can I press my ear to the floor?
Yes, you can.
Like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if it gives me anything.
Roll a perception again.
Well, you're down
Don't
there.
fail me now. Fuck. I did the music just. Whew.
Even with a 9 perception roll, you hear the rumbling increasing. And you hear it before everyone else in the tavern. Because everyone else is talking. They're listening to the flautist begin to play again. They're listening to the drummer drum a very simple beat. People are drinking, they're laughing, they're talking. But you hear the rumbling increasing in the floorboards. And you know that it is not just footsteps in the tavern. It's a steady rumbling, without pause. What do you
But I
do?
know if this is an earthquake. Because I'm assuming I've experienced earthquakes before.
It feels somewhat like an earthquake, but it's increasing steadily. Earthquakes tend to just rumble without cause.
I'm
Or
going
without
outside
pattern.
if anything's to follow. Because there's something.
I'm gonna stand up, grab my viol, and I'm gonna walk out before, like, his mention's going out, so I'm gonna go and walk out as well.
I'm gonna go out like here. What do I see like here?
I'm gonna lean right on this post, this tavern.
Lorian. It's Lorian, right? What do you do, Lorian?
I'm gonna call Foul. Come with me.
Well,
are they doing?
Falion was outside.
Falamar.
Falmanar, yeah, sorry. He was outside, but he, you see him through
All
sort
right, he
of the
went-
tavern windows coming alongside. And
All right.
everyone in the tavern, as you're all walking outside, begins to hush, and they feel the rumbling too. The rumbling gets to the point where even the tankards and the chandeliers are shaking. The candles are flickering. The whole town is shaking. And and it's growing louder and louder. And you see the man, the sickly man who is leaning against the chapel across the street. And even he is shaken awake. He was asleep. It's the nighttime in the city.
Well, this can't be good.
It's feels like some kind of earthquake, but it's not. It's not.
Different experiences with earthquakes. I've never had one myself.
What the hell?
What the fuck is that? Ah!
Is that a pink spasm meant to be there?
So what happens is giant glowing purple and pink and crystalline spires, crystals erupt from the earth. They are constantly moving as if looking through a kaleidoscope. They're glowing in the night of the city. It illuminates this area of the city with a soft pink glow. The whole place is shaking to the point where you're not sure if the structural integrity of the tavern will hold. You hear screaming from inside the tavern, and the man who is leaning against the tavern is struck by one of these crystals shooting through the earth, and it kills him. He's flung across the street, and he is killed. The cathedral is destroyed. You see stones crumble down in the night. And it seems to be only around the chapel.
With grace and speed, I'm gonna like full action dash 100 feet like down away from wherever the fuck this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Fucking run!
How far is 100 feet?
Well, before you move, because you did enter the city, I want you to know, to the south are some marketplaces and some kind of riffraff areas and dark alleyways. To the north are some residential businesses and residential houses and some noble areas. And to the east, you have the docks and the shipyard, and a few taverns and a few shipyard marketplaces. Toward the central of the city, you have just more marketplaces and businesses, business offices, and things like that. So everything is still rumbling violently, but the crystals seem to be fixed in place, but still moving like kaleidoscopes. Like their texture and their color and their light is moving.
I'm gonna follow my dear friend. I can only move 30 feet though.
You can move 60 if you dash, but
Okay.
still.
Then yeah, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I'm dashing too.
So which way are you guys going? Northwest,
I
east,
want
south?
to move
roughly?
south, but how far can I move? Like, is there a way to measure?
You can move down to the block. I will reveal the alleyway if you go down there. I'll do that now.
Okay. So my guy's gonna go like, he's gonna go slightly faster than Artemis, but not like fast enough that he'd lose him.
I'm probably gonna be moving down about here-ish. Not
Yeah,
sure how
the
much.
crystals don't appear to be moving anymore, but the whole earth is shaking still. You see a few other patrons run out of the tavern, including Kathok and Quinn. And things are still shaking.
Alright. Let's see.
Lorian, make a perception roll.
Yeah. Yeah. I got myself in something with this.
Falminar saw you running in the night in the lanterns of the city and followed you.
Oh my fucking gods! What is wrong with my virtual dice? Every roll, I swear.
Yeah, so you did not notice Kurdu Strongback following you, the dwarf of which you made an arrangement with. But he is in the street along with some of the other patrons running to safety.
Can we stand okay? Is the rumbling gonna...
That guy took his meal with him. Yes, you can stand, but your balance is off, however.
Priorities.
Can I get
Actually,
up? What is this right here?
Okay, that's just like a market stall that's sort of covered in like burlap and stuff. because it's nighttime, so like it's like a closed market stall. However, Sandro, you're the furthest down the street, so I'd like you to make a perception roll, please.
Hey!
Oh, wow. So, in the lanterns of the night, you notice right here. Why can't I click? Shit. Why can't I click? I'm supposed to be able to ping the table here. I don't know why I can't ping the table. Anyways,
Hold.
right there. I think it just delayed. Anyway,
I saw a purple one.
yeah, the purple one. Okay, so where the purple one is,
That was me.
you notice some blood, a pool of blood, a moderate amount.
Can
Yes,
I move up and around, or do I need to?
you can. You can.
Okay. Like peek right here.
Okay, you notice a few crossbow bolts, both on the ground, in the blood, and in the market stall wood, on the left side of the market stall there, as if someone shot from the trajectory of down from the alleyway toward where you are. That is all you see, but you saw that something happened here this very night. You're not sure what.
Once I see the crossbow bolts, I'm gonna like duck back and try to like sneak back to where these two are and let them know what's going on.
Very good. The rumbling starts to slow a little bit. Okay.
So, I'm staring at these crystals and trying to think if I've ever seen anything like this before or read of anything like this before. I do
Very
have
good.
high arcana and history, so.
So,
And
would you like to do a history to see if you can recall anything, an intelligence to see if you can make sense of it, or an investigation to discern something very particular about it that you would like to declare?
I think I'd investigation.
Okay, so what about it are you going to investigate?
I want to see if I can figure out what the fuck it's supposed to do. Is that something I can investigate necessarily, or
You can investigate its properties, perhaps. I don't know. What would you like to investigate about it?
I would like to investigate its properties.
Very
yes.
good. 19, excellent.
Finally.
So you know that this is not something that's normal for earthquakes. This is not any type of gem or crystal of this earth that you're aware of. So whatever you're seeing is something either magical, supernatural, from another dimension, or of a deity. But it is something that is not just of the natural earth that is happening without some other powerful force behind it. You know that even a very trained wizard would have a difficult time producing something of this magnitude, as you are indeed a mage yourself, one who has studied much arcana. So this is something that you have never heard of or seen before.
Damn. In fact, that's exactly what he says. Damn.
I would like you to make an
Okay.
intelligence roll, however,
Me?
Lorien.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Is it a saving throw, or just do I click on the?
It would not be a saving throw. Just click on intelligence.
Are you fucking me?
Just
How do
try
I
to-
even?
Regardless of the 10, you do recall that there has been lots of drama in the following days regarding the church.
I turned to the dwarf. Have you ever seen any such thing? Is this what happened before, when the cathedral took damage? When the cultist attacked?
I've never seen anything like this in my travels.
It's something that would take an immense amount of power. Perhaps something otherworldly, maybe even some divine or even infernal being. I don't really know, but this is very serious. What the hell is going on in this town?
Also, Lorien, you notice that, without saying too much, the curse that you're suffering from alters, if you know what I mean.
Ah,
You feel like there is some kind of connection to these strange crystals and your altering curse.
I clutch at my chest. Fuck, not now. All right.
Right.
Does anyone know anything about these cultists? Who do they worship? Anything?
I'm gonna point at Sandro, kind of bob my hand towards his flute. I need you to trust me. Can you play that? Come up closer to whatever earthquake's happening. I need you to play that. I'm gonna play mine. I've heard plenty of rumors. 2 stuck out to me, but the important one here, music I've heard suppresses comings like this when they've happened before. From the rumors that I've heard. I don't know. It could be false, but that's something we could try.
Alright. Playing. What?
Just
I'm gonna follow you. Just take me where I need to go.
I'm gonna move up. I don't want to get too close, but I'm gonna get right about here, where I can clearly see the
I'm gonna stand in
whatever
front
this pink stuff is. All right,
of you. I'm going to make sure I'm like protecting you.
all right. I'm gonna, cause I had my
We're like a little closer. 'Cause I
had my viol on me.
So,
I'm gonna put the
Before you,
face up.
before you do anything, you notice the body of that person is slightly leaning against the crystals, and you see their body is almost warping. It's warping and flickering, almost like a flame, almost like the way a mirage looks in heat. It's not melting the body, but it's warping its reality. It appears to be changing the body, the part of the body that's near the crystal.
I'm gonna
Sure.
stare at that for only a small second or two, because my focus is on grabbing my viol, putting the head up to my neck, grabbing the shit. What was it called? What are the things that he's playing with? Oh no,
Bow.
The bow.
bow.
the bow. Yes. I am a little bit nervous that this isn't gonna work, so I'm a little bit shaky on the hands, but I'm just gonna try to play the first tune that really comes to mind. It's nothing special. It's just a standard viol tune that you can use for training.
I'm going.
So-
oh,
yeah.
You want me to
Go
also
ahead.
play music right now?
I will tell you to. I will tell you to play just anything at this point.
So I'm gonna plant my feet, take a deep breath in. I'm just gonna start doing like a slow melodic, like kind of like Native American style, like flute playing, trying to match what he's doing.
So I would like you both to roll performance rolls. I believe that's a skill. Is that still a skill? I believe it is.
That's a
right?
skill. Yes, correct.
Yeah, so both of you click performance.
Here's my big move.
Interesting. 5
Wow.
and a 23.
Yeah.
So
Because I only get a
unmistakably, unmistakably, there's no doubt about it. The crystals shift from a bright pink and purple to a white light, and the crystals begin to move again because they were stationary, although visually kind of kaleidoscoping. They begin shifting in shape, and they become, instead of long spires, they become sort of round, like globes on the end of a stem, and they sort of twist and turn around themselves.
Am I feeling any kind of a change internally?
No longer. You felt the one change, and it did change, and now it has stayed the way it has changed.
All right.
Has the tremors calmed down?
It's still rumbling, but it's much softer now. People are starting to feel a little calmer outside. They're still grouping and talking about it and just staring at these crystals. And the cathedral is, in fact, split in two. It's just crumbling. The whole front half of it has been just ripped open. That has not changed, and that will stay the way it is. But both the body and the stones that make up the crystal they appear to be shimmering when you look through these crystals. It's like warping their reality. What do you all do?
I'm gonna keep playing. I'm not gonna stop.
All right. And the other fellow? Sandra?
I see it's working. I'm gonna keep going if it's working.
Okay. They continue to stay white and sort of remain intertwined with themselves, the crystals.
I'm going to edge a little closer and try to, without touching or getting too terribly close, examine the dead body and see if I can figure out what's going on with it.
Investigation.
Investigation.
Falminar follows
Station.
you closely, so you can drag him with you. Okay, so you notice that the man is the same man that you spoke to the day before. He still looked sickly, but he looked like he has been physically torn across below the rib cage by these crystals, by the violent explosion of crystals.
That poor bastard. I guess it's a mercy, but that's a hell of a way to go. Nobody touch those! I call out to the crowd. In case anybody was thinking of it, I see you guy with his plate there, giving it a bit of an eye. Don't touch that. I think it would be a very bad idea.
As soon as you say that, you notice a few town guard, I'm not going to drop tokens, but a few town guard coming out and standing there looking at the crystals, not knowing what to do. They stand ready.
I turn to the town guard. Don't touch that. I think it might be a terrible curse that my compatriots are trying to control.
You also see the captain of the guard, or at least who you presume to be the captain of the guard, standing in front of them all, also just mesmerized by the lights. He sees that no one is approaching the crystals, and that's the way he'd like to keep it, at least that's what you discern.
Yeah. I approach him and I say, "Good sir, have you seen anything like this in this town before? Is this what happened when the cultist attacked last time?"
Stand back away from the perimeter. Stand back, citizen.
All right. I stand
He
back.
doesn't take his eyes off the crystals. He's watching them. He's mesmerized.
So
It appears to you that he's never seen such a thing by the expression on his face. Okay, back to the musicians. Are you guys doing anything else? Are you continue playing, or what are you doing?
Can I slow on my flute playing? Not stop, but slow
Yeah,
to
the
see
wheel.
if... Not flute, wheel. Yeah, sorry. Can I slow down to see if the rumbling picks back up again? I'm not going to stop, I just want to see if there's a change.
Yes, you can slow down. So when you do slow down, you see the crystals slowly shrinking again and going back toward the earth.
So no matter what you do, I'm just gonna follow you. So if you stop playing this.
Alright, I'm going to...
So, yeah.
If the situation's turning out better, I'm just going to slow and slow until I come to a stop.
Okay, so as you do that, the crystals slowly dim in brightness and slowly go back under the earth. Everything that they've altered, the destruction of the cathedral and the death of the man, remains the same, but the crystals shrink slowly and they go back into the earth. And if you continue playing, they do so until they are completely out of view and the rumbling is almost no longer felt by you. It seems that the crystals have gone away as you continue to play slower and slower. So as the crystals disappear, the guards then take action and start moving the civilians back to their homes and inside the buildings. They are no longer staring at the cathedral. You see the captain of the guard walk forward and inspect the cathedral as if he's looking for people or any other crystals. And the other guards are just sort of corralling the people away to safety. Lorian, as your hand goes into your satchel just naturally, you notice a folded letter.
Oh.
And you open it. I'm going to share this with all players, though.
Should
letter
I just close
says-
it, or? Oh, sorry.
The letter says, "Friends, thank you for rescuing me. I'm not grateful for my own life being saved, but for the chance to save my daughter's. I'm sorry to admit I work with the Silk Strands Thieves Guild. It is the only way I can raise enough money to cure my daughter. The Silk Strands are dangerous, and they are traveling to the Belmare estate with the key to the stronghold door. I know you want the treasures that are inside, but they will get there before you. They will kill you all. Please do not go there. This warning is all I can offer you for saving me. I can only hope you forgive me for doing what I must for my moon. With regrets, Starry." And the two new adventurers to the group must only assume that this is a reference to something that happened a day or two ago.
So,
And Sandro, I think it was Sandro,
Okay.
you do notice that that's the same letter that was put into the High Elf's satchel from the
Okay.
halfling woman.
Would you have relayed the letter to us at all, Lauren? If not, I
Well,
can just...
I stand there and read it and crush it very slightly in my hand. That foolish child! And I turn to the two of you and let you see the letter. Are you sure you want to go with me?
There are things up there that I fear not finding them worse than I fear dying.
You know, I was going to take the riches that I inherited, and I was going to use them to try to help the sick people in this town. You know of the rot, do you not? Have you heard of it?
I am not familiar.
Would we have heard of it from the townsfolk, or is that new to us?
You heard brief rumors, but you haven't been exposed to too much of it yet. You know that there is some kind of disease going around, but you don't know too much about it.
I'm going to shake my
disease.
head to her question.
The disease in that temple. Well, the disease is called the rot, and no one knows where it came from exactly, although the dwarf believes it might have come from rats coming off of the ship, but it's from somewhere out there, outside of the city. It's a terrible disease, not terribly contagious, but those it kills in a very painful and devastating way. If someone gets it, it's always fatal unless the priests in that very temple that we just saw get, whatever it was, they could cure it, but they were charging 1,000 gold per cure, which
I don't
to me
mean to
seems...
interrupt this too much, but there is a body over there that we should probably check out before we figure out our next
Any
steps.
of the guards mention the fancy getting that? Are there still guards around us?
They are, but they're not paying attention to you as far as you can tell. They're busy just taking care of like the city folk. You all appear to be a little more well-traveled than some of the commoners, so you look like you guys can handle yourselves a little bit more. So that's why they're not tending to you as much. You're not like, like some softy.
I'm gonna look at Sandro and I'm gonna like shrug my shoulders and
I'm going to make my
motion
way
towards
back
the-
down towards the alley because I'm trying to like.
I
that's
follow,
not
but
my priority right now.
all right, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I follow, but I turn to the tiefling as we walk, and I say, "We haven't actually been introduced. What's your name?"
Haha, sorry. I'm gonna put one hand on my chest. I'm gonna bow. My name is Archimus. Apologies for not making your acquaintance sooner.
I incline my head. My name is Lorian. And what of you? Are you heading north also?
Well, I don't think there's gonna be many attractions to play at when the city is in I'm gonna motion towards the destruction of the cathedral. So, I suppose going north isn't too out of my question now.
Young one, I'm not sure there's really going to be much to perform for up there, but seeing how the two of you handled yourselves in town here, you would be welcome.
Well, I'll just play for us then. I'm gonna kind of shrug my shoulders. This is gonna be a little bit sarcastic, but my character's gonna drop a darling at the end of that, and I am going to go up to that body to see if I can tend to it and pick it up and get it out of the way.
I'm still going this way as well. This is.
All right, we're moving, and so's our
I'm sorry.
guard who's following along.
Who said they're gonna investigate the body?
I did.
This is
Okay.
fine.
So go up and do a, I suppose. Well, what is it that you're looking for in particular?
Is there any abnormal? Because he is injured. Is there any abnormal discoloring or any left over that pink, wavy, whatever that was that came up?
All
I'm
right. So
not sure
roll an
what it
investigation. Roll an investigation.
Where is-
Ah, okay. That's a very high roll. So you see that this man did appear to be sickly. which matches the description of Lorien saying that there's a disease going around the town. He looked very weak and sickly. He has a huge gaping wound in his side of his torso that appears to have been caused by the crystal. You don't notice anything else that's unusual. You don't see the altering of reality that you saw when the crystal was there. And on his body you find an old traveler's journal. He seems to have been just sort of a vagabond and just had some very mundane notes in the traveler's journal. You find a rope necklace, a box of candles, and that's about it. Some hardtack, which is like really dry bread.
Out of fear of not knowing of the disease, if it's contagious or if I can get it just by touching them, I'm not gonna do anything with them.
Sounds like a plan. All right.
And I'm just gonna close my eyes, shake my head, and walk back to join the other three.
Make it constitutional. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
So I'm up here now.
So, are you in the habit of wandering down dark alleys in the middle of the night to look at dangerous things?
I try to do my best to figure out what's happening where I am. I could be aware.
Well, I think you'd get along well with Fowl here. He likes to walk in open doors and get shot.
Yes, I was about to say those are always traps.
Is there anything different with the blood and the arrows since I left?
Bolts, not arrows, and they do
Oh,
appear to be the
bolts, yeah.
same. They do appear to be the same. As I mentioned, some of them are lying in the pool of blood, and some of them are struck into the wood on your left, right there. That would be your left. Our right.
Can I see how fresh the blood is? Like,
Sure, it appears to be... Actually, roll an investigation.
investigation?
Yeah, investigation. From your knowledge of medicine and investigating it, it appears to be fairly fresh. Like, it must have happened like just a couple hours ago. It still hasn't completely coagulated.
Okay.
Less
Can
than
I
a couple
see where
hours ago.
this blood came from by going in? Here. By leaning in.
You see a few footprints, but it's awfully dark out, and your investigation was sort of brief. So you're having a hard time seeing where the bloody footprints may go.
You know, one of you two come take a look at this. I'm not really accustomed to seeing in the dark.
Sure. You know, I'm an elf, so...
While he goes to investigate the blood trails, can I take one of these bolts out of the wood and investigate, say, for poison tips?
Sure.
And see if these areas poison at all?
Sure, you can investigate that.
So I'll investigate myself. You know, I'm starting to suspect that this area is not a good neighborhood. What do you guys think?
Reminds me of home.
Everything
So,
has their bad days.
So, Artemis, you don't perceive there to be any kind of poison or magic on the bolts. They appear to be regular steel bolts. And they're slightly damaged from the action they've seen. Some of them have looked like they've hit like armor or wood, and they've been somewhat dented.
I look to see if there's any clues, anything that stands out, anything that can help me understand a little more what happened here beyond somebody probably got shot.
Okay, so Lorien, your investigation of the scene of the crime actually is fairly high. You see that there are footprints leading to the east down the alleyway, toward that old shack of a house that you've entered before.
Of course. Hey, Fall! Fall!
Yes?
Look, remember that house that you, the shit shack? Do you remember the shit shack, Fall? That you walked into? Do you remember that? When you left me?
My leg is still a little sore, but I did get some rest this evening.
Yeah, so... And this is gonna be shocking to you, but I think that maybe the people in there with their thieves' tools were up to no good. What do you think, Fall? Do you think that's maybe a bad shit shack over there? Because the footprints here definitely lead to that.
Well, the door was open last time, so I wanted to look inside.
Yeah,
well, they're
that was
big. Oh, sorry. Go on. You keep going.
So what do you think we should do now, Fall? Do you think we should investigate again?
Well, I saw Nim go down the stairs when I was heading up to the room. I don't know where she went. Maybe she's in danger.
Well, it's Nim. Of course she's in danger. I mean, she creates her own danger zone wherever she goes. And fuck!
Right,
You
but
know,
we can't leave without her. We have to leave tomorrow morning. And she has
Yeah.
the deed to the estate. Or at least
She-
one
she
copy
does-
of it.
she has one, and how did these what are they silken strands, silver silk? I look at my at the letter
The silk
that I had.
strands.
The silk strands. How did they get the fucking key? Mother, you know. Of course. She got
we
the
never
castle.
we never saw a key though. We never saw a key. I mean, she was given a box, but we don't know what was inside the box. I assume a key.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what do you think would be in the box? Like some snacks?
Well, she
You think
never
maybe-
she never
you think-
opened it, so we don't know.
Well, no. But do you think that maybe it was snacks? Or
Well, why
you know,
didn't she open it? I don't know why she didn't open it.
Why
I mean, I
does
open
she...
doors when I see them.
Okay,
Um,
yes. Well, I was going to say think of a good decision, and then she will just whatever she does will be the opposite of that. But you know, perhaps you're not the person I should be asking about that, Mister. Look, an open door. I'm just gonna walk in and get shot. But
Oh wait, hold on. That reminds me. Today's technically over, so you owe me for the day.
Can I go forward into the? Okay, I'm gonna pass these two. This mouth. Things other than bickering for a change, please.
Is
Can I go-
nobody
so
gonna
this-
check the stall?
oh, wait a minute.
I was about to
darling,
say
is
the
that
stall's shut, right?
This little shop here, yeah, it's just sort of like, honestly, just like it's like an open stall that's just covered up with like burlap and like sheets.
Okay. Can I look around? Is there anyone around me in this little alleyway?
So like, just to clarify, the footsteps led. Why can't I click? There we go. In this direction. But the blood trail kind of like thins out once you
I'm
get
not seeing a direction.
It's not pinging. To
Sit
your
over
east. To your east.
I'm thinking.
Oh, that way?
Yeah, and the blood trail kind of thins out there because the footprints disappear about that far. But as you overheard Nim and blanking out Falmanar, you heard them discuss that they have been in that part of town before and came across some sketchy residences.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lorian.
Lorien, sorry. Yeah.
So we're all huddled around here. Sandra wanted to investigate this little tent thing.
Sure.
Is there anyone around me besides these three gentlemen?
Perception.
Oh boy. Oh no.
You don't see anybody in this alleyway, but you hear folks around the corner down like other streets and stuff.
I'm gonna take a full turn around. I'm gonna look around. After not seeing anybody, I'm gonna turn to these three. You gentlemen keep a secret. I'm going to, cause there's a tarp over this, correct? So I can just lift it up.
Yeah, it's just you see like burlap, kind of like tarp basically. Tarp made of burlap, like just covering a lot of that stuff.
I'm gonna use Mage Hand to lift it up while standing back, cause I don't want something to jump out at me.
Hey,
Alright.
I think you're making
Can I
some
try to-
assumptions, but I got no
before you
problem.
start that, can I like try to like pat your hand or something? Be like, hold on.
So you're
Let's do
patting my
this the
hand.
old-fashioned way.
Well, if you get stabbed from inside the tarp, you open it then.
I just want to like pull my sword out, do like a really quick like, shoo, and cut like a slice in the tarp, and then put my sword back.
I'm sorry, who's doing that? You're doing what? You're stabbing the tarp?
Sandra, I'm gonna do like a really thin slice. I'm gonna try to like I don't want to hit inside the stall. I want to like just barely cut the tarp so you can see inside without having to touch it.
Okay. You can do that, and you can peer inside. Remind me, you are a
I'm a human, so I don't have dark
so you
vision.
don't
I'm
have
opening
dark
it so
vision or
he can
anything.
see.
Got it. So the tiefling is going to look in. Remind me, tieflings have dark vision, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So is that what you do?
I'm gonna look in. Yes.
Okay. So you see a couple of burlap sacks. You're not sure what's inside of them. You see a ledger that is very homely. It's not like a fancy ledger or anything. It's like a notebook basically made like basic leather. You see a pair of spectacles that seem to be in good condition, and you see like a bunch of like lettuce and leeks in a wooden crate.
Is there
Would you like me
any
to roll
blood in here?
investigation? Yeah, I'm looking for blood.
You don't see any blood.
Okay. No, nothing in here. You just kind of vandalized something. Good job.
The leeks are really fresh
Oh,
looking.
so the blood was just like a pool of blood on the outside. It wasn't.
You
coming from
also
inside.
perceive the spectacles to be worth at least 50 gold pieces. That is your own appraisal, however. That may or may not be accurate.
My character does not actively steal yet.
Fair enough. Just putting that out there.
I am gonna kind of like gesture in there. I'm gonna walk around the top. There's something in there worth money if one of you has low morals. I'm gonna walk. Can I follow the blood trail?
Yes, you can.
Okay. And you said the blood trail ends about here.
Correct. Make a perception when you get there.
Okay.
I make a dramatic bow and wave and motion to move forward to my guard and follow behind.
He does so.
Should I make one as well if I'm going over there?
Sure. Yeah, you can both make one. Actually, all three of you can make one. Palminar
Look at my
is
savior.
fine. Okay.
Perception.
We'll start with Archimus. Archimus, you see a rundown-looking house here, and it looks much more rundown than the other houses in this neighborhood, which are not too fanciful to begin with. This one is really run down. Like, we're talking a smashed front window, kind of like rubble and dirt on the front porch, and like it looks like the front door's latch is kind of open, and like a draft is kind of blowing through it. And it's just a really shady area. It's like not well lit. Like there's lanterns in the other places. Sandra, you see pretty much the same thing. You don't see any blood beyond the footsteps that you're standing upon. And you do notice that it's sort of like a barren alleyway. Like not a lot of people come in this part of town. There's other routes that are more traveled. And Lorian, you notice that it looks kind of the same as the last time you were there. Not a whole lot has changed in this street, on this street. It just
Not
seems
a
like a
custody
really,
shit shot.
it just seems like not a well-traveled place. It's the kind of place that like people would use as like a roundabout shortcut, not like a main street.
I
It's
love
where
how
you go
nice
to
you
get
are.
mugged.
When someone goes like a roll, like a low roll, you're not like, yeah, you don't see anything. You're just trying to let them down gently. But, the blood choice that thins out right here where I am.
Yeah, you don't know where it goes from there, from what you
Can I
perceive.
peek in the broken window? You said there was a
Sure.
broken window. So
Sure, and
I don't know which
that's
house
you.
it'd
You
be,
see the tiefling saying that with dark vision, right?
Uh-huh.
So it would be this house here.
Alright, I'm gonna peek through the broken window. You want me to roll?
Yeah, just do like an investigation, I guess. Or perception.
God damn it.
I'm just
So
backing you up.
you just see what appears to be. I mean, you see a chest against the far wall. It's just like kind of like a wooden chest. You see one or two, like 2 or 3 cots. You see like some like jackets or something hanging on a coat hook. It just seems like really plain inside and doesn't seem too interesting.
I'm gonna turn back to Lorian and Thal. Is that
Okay.
name?
Palminar?
Which
Yeah.
one of you? Which one of you were the ones that walked into obvious traps?
Oh, that was
That-
me, Falminar says.
There's
Uh,
a
the
wooden
door- the-
chest in here that we can see if you want to give it a second go.
Oh yeah, I looked in there and I actually found a few things in there, but I just didn't take any of it. I mean, it was just sitting there for the taking, and Lorian and I decided to leave it all there. But It's actually stuff that's very useful for our journey, but I don't know how you feel about stealing it. It's
Well,
May or
I
may
just
not-
want to investigate to see where see if the blood trail leads in this house.
There were some thieves' tools. There was a signet ring with a couple of like a twisty S thing. Which now that I think about it, you know, the silk strands S. Well, fuck me.
Maybe. Sandro, do you want to investigate in
Continue.
here, or?
I believe that we should leave this as is. I figured it was more close than it was, and we should work on getting to this estate as quickly as possible before these thieves show up.
Well, what about this? I'm gonna motion to the blood trail.
Dominator says, wait though, there was an arrow trap on the door, so if you go in, just be careful.
Where's the arrow trap?
It was on the inside of the door. I set off a really thin, so to speak, thin strand that was a tripwire and shot an arrow into my leg, but I'm feeling alright now.
Right here.
That's right, be careful.
I'm gonna climb on, and
You're gonna climb
Wait.
in the door.
I'm gonna go through the door. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna peer in the window.
I'd like you to make a dex save. You deftly tumble as 3 arrows shoot past you into the wall. As you tumble in, you see that it was indeed another tripwire that you did not even bother to step over. You find a pair of knucklebone dice, a sling with 10 pellets, 10 bullets. You also find 2 sets of fur clothes and 3 grappling hooks with rope.
There's
what the
a.
fuck are bone knuckle dice?
They're just like
Sounds cool.
yeah, they're just like gaming dice basically.
Okay. Can I roll a perception just real quick to make sure no one's kind of coming around, seeing that we're breaking into some house?
Sure.
They did.
You thought you heard something down the street. It was actually a cat running by, but you thought it might have been a person.
Damn.
Sandro, make a perception roll. Okay, so by the door you also find one more set of fur clothes. You see a letter written with some strange words and symbols that you've never seen before. It doesn't seem to be another type of language, it just seems to be sort of like some kind of code. And you also see on that letter a wax seal with a unique symbol with 2 intertwined letter S's, which, based on the conversations you've had with Lorian, you perceive to be the silk strand symbol.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the letter and the extra set of fur clothes.
You also find on the cot a contract written on paper which details some kind of business deal with a mountaineer. Not the mountaineer that you saw in the tavern. It was some kind of human mountaineer, not a dwarven one. And you also find 3 flasks with a dark substance inside of them. And you don't know exactly what it is. You can't really tell what it is.
What is on the contract?
It's it just plainly details an agreement. Apparently a mountaineer is being paid daily to escort these people through the northern Dwalin Mountains, but it doesn't say much more than that.
Does it say when the payment date starts?
It does not. It just
Okay,
states it doesn't even state how much the person's being paid. It just states that the person will be paid per day based on their expertise in the mountains and costs for food and board.
Alright, I'm gonna grab that as well, and then that's all I'm gonna get.
So you're leaving the 3 flasks. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't drink alcohol, and I don't really. If it's poison in it, I don't want it. If it's alcohol, I don't want it. So it's.
You can make
Not
an
really.
intelligence roll.
All right. Just like pick it up and take a look.
Yeah, you're not sure if it's a poison, an alcohol, or something else entirely, but you don't sense much more than that.
Yeah, just like pick it up, look at it, and just toss it back on the bed. And like,
I walk over to the flasks and take a look at them.
Okay, and what are you going to use? Arcana, intelligence, etc., etc.
Let's do intelligence.
Now, when
Are
you,
you
what do you?
fucking-
Now, tell me how you investigate them. What is it that you do when you investigate them?
I look at it to see if I can figure out what kind of substance it is.
Okay. As you swirl the flask around in your hand, you see that it is a very dark substance, and it seems to be somewhat thick. It's not like very thin. It's you have some experience with this sort of stuff. I mean, books and the weave of magic is more your thing, but you could tell it's not really any alcohol that you're familiar with, because you grew up with the arts and with the drinks. Not necessarily one who partakes more so, but as a noble, you do see these things on a regular basis, and it's not any alcohol that you know. If you're not sure if it's a poison or something else entirely, however.
Well, I'm pretty sure these are the guys that are coming after us. I want to make their life as difficult as possible. Why would we give them any advantage? Whatever this is, it's probably meant to help them in some ways. I look over, I palm the vials, and I look over to see if those thieves, the flasks. Yes, I look over to see if the thieves' tools are still hanging on the wall.
I did forget to mention those, and those are, there's only one set of them now, and it's, yes, on the shelf by the door, correct. Please write down anything that you pick up for your own sake.
Yes, alright.
And what about the extra set of furs? Was that already taken by Sandra?
I'm grabbing every set of fur clothes I find. So I have 3 so far.
Copy.
I
your
look
boy
under the
knows it's
bed
cold in the
again,
mountains.
because I'd found stuff under there before.
Yeah, now there's just, like, nothing of importance. Like, you see some, like, comforters and, like blankets now. It's someone has been there since you've been there. You can tell things have been moved around a bit. And there aren't as many lockpicks as there were before.
Well, see, this is what I get for trying to be honorable and shit. Well, trying to save my own skin, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you all. But now they just have that much more to come after us with. But how was I supposed to know? I mean, what is wrong with this town? Seriously. Well, I recommend we casually saunter back into the inn. As if we haven't done any
I would
sketchy
rather
ass
not
shit.
sleep right next to where that big tentacle thing just came out of nowhere.
Don't just play a flute at it or something. It'll be fine.
All right,
I'm
now you're
tired.
down too, so I'll take that.
Alright, when they all leave and I'm by myself, I'm gonna flip that cat off and then follow them. Fucking cat.
You got it. The cat looks sad,
Good.
Aw,
The music starts playing too. That's great.
and the cat walks away into the dark alley.
tiny little
Yeah.
kitten tear rolls down its furry orange cheek.
Good.
That cat had a hard life. I wrote a
Yeah.
backstory for it.